One of the questions that people always ask me is, what do you mean when you say the perfection of humans, or all that is right with you, instead of looking at what is wrong with you? And I think that's a really important question. Um, if we look across the different parts of our world, spiritual parts, the religious parts, the scientific parts, metaphysical parts, these different groups of folks that are all trying to figure out what it means to be human. Well-intentioned, well-resourced, smartest people on the planet, today and at all time, have grappled with these ideas. And we have a lot of different ideas, and they're often in direct conflict with each other, whether it's scientific Big Bang and life out of nothing, nihilistic perspectives, to ascension of souls or spirits, or God and creation and all of that. Lots of different ideas of thinking about it. We're not here to argue or to determine which of those is right or wrong. If one of those makes sense to somebody, if it helps us organize and live our lives, great. Somebody else has a different idea with competing elements that gains the same benefit from a different perspective. Fantastic. But there is an agreement across all of these disciplines and across all of time about what it means to be us. When we talk about a human being over long periods of time, we talk about genetics. Genetics essentially means changing over time to suit our needs, learning, adapting, evolving. In a shorter period of time, there is this word called epigenetics, generational changes. Non-controversial. We see changes, sometimes physical changes, certainly emotional changes, cognitive changes in groups of people based on circumstances that change. Entirely too slow to be genetic. So we call it epigenetic or generational. Experiencing, learning, adapting. This is a process. We also know this happens when we're in the belly. The conditions of life inform how our nervous system develops. Again, non-controversial stuff. What's going on with mom, what's going on in the household makes a difference. And then on from the time we're born forward. Well, this is what we're supposed to do. This is how we're designed. Again, non-controversial and agreement, whether you're spiritual, religious, or scientific. So when I talk about the perfection of a human and all that goes right, when we meet somebody and they are acting in a particular way, let's imagine that they're having a tough time managing use of substances, or there's a depression, or there's an anxiety. If we move away from criticism and get curious, what we're looking for is, why would that be there if it's an expression of all that went right? Genetically, generationally, and in this life. We are supposed to experience, learn, and adapt. And anytime when there's a name-calling thing, you're an addict, you're a blank, 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 you're a disorder, what we're doing is we're comparing that behavior to like an average. Why an average? Does everybody have an average experience? No. So why is it, and where is it that we cut off the lines? This is not to invisibilize pain, quite the opposite. It's trying to identify and to try to address the pain. And if we begin to look at people from the perspective of all that is right with them, we actually empower them to begin to look to see if those very same behaviors, those very same elements that compel behaviors, are still necessary or not.